What is going on, everybody? We are back together here with another video. We have a very, very interesting topic here that my wife found. And you know that Bruce Lee is one of my favorite action stars of all time.
Yes, he's mine too.
I'm a big-time Bruce Lee fan. Love all of his movies. This man made... He kind of modernized the action star to me. Because what he was doing on screen was something that we had never seen before. And of course, neither one of us was actually born when he actually died in 1973. But man, what an impact. Seen all his movies, love it.
Yeah, I think Jackie Chan was trying to be like him. But
Well, it wasn't
like
that he was trying to be like him. The studios are trying to make him into the next Bruce Lee. And then he started doing the kung fu comedy, like the first Drunken Master,
Oh yeah,
and then Legend of Drunken Master, which is Jung Kyun, I believe, something like that.
I don't remember.
Well, anyway, that's the Cantonese name. But anyway, they tried to make him to be more comedic,
Yeah,
and it worked out for his career. But that brings us to San Francisco, because I don't know if you know it now, but Bruce Lee was born in San Francisco in 1940.
Mm-hmm.
So he was born there. Of course, he grew up in Hong Kong, and then he actually came back to San Francisco. And right now, guys, crime is run amok in the People's Republic of California. And San Francisco, I would never want to live there. It is one of the most expensive places to live in America. And the crime is just out of control. Now, a little bit of backstory here. The district attorney got ousted in a recall because, in these liberal cities, they don't actually want to prosecute crime. It's a free-for-all for criminals.
I was wondering that there was a news where like Biden signed a COVID-19 crime bill to combat like Asian hate crime in the past, but it really does nothing.
Biden doesn't care about crime. He doesn't care about the crime. And one thing about these liberal bills, they're kind of masquerading as the title, like the this new Inflation Reduction Act does nothing to actually combat inflation. And actually, one of the Democrats actually said that.
Yeah, but why do they sign the bill?
It's ridiculous. They're Democrats. But anyway, here. Store owner in San Francisco's Chinatown trained staff in kung fu to fight crime. Now, one of my favorite lines in this was actually in Enter the Dragon. Bruce Lee's about to fight O'Hara, I believe that's his name. He grabs a board, he breaks it, and then what does Bruce Lee say? He says, "Boards don't hit back." So I love that line, because what he's basically saying, you can hit a board, but what you're going to do when you actually have to fight somebody that's trying to fight you. So in the case of this restaurant, if somebody's going to fight them and attack them in the street, they better be able to fight back.
Yeah.
Because the crime is just crazy. I've never been to San Francisco. I never want to go there. Like I said, it's too expensive for one thing. But a store owner in San Francisco's Chinatown is training staff members in kung fu after hours so they can help stop theft, which remains rampant in the city amid an ongoing crime wave and anti-Asian hate crimes that have risen recently in the area. Mindy Fong shut the doors of Jade Chocolate's Tea House and Cafe at just past 5 p.m. on a weekday this spring. Fong had spent the day making chocolates, preparing pastries, and serving tea. But now she was leading her employees to a very different type of shift, their first all-staff kung fu class. Fong decided to hold the class in late March after a string of robberies coincided with the cafe's move from Inner Richmond to Chinatown. Fong was excited to move to the neighborhood where her cafe's Asian-inspired chocolates could find a cultural home, but immediately it was clear to Fong that COVID-19, crime, and anti-Asian hate had left their mark on the neighborhood. In 2021, anti-Asian hate crime spiked 567% in San Francisco. So just the one city, man. According to the city's police department, with 60 attacks targeting people of Asian descent, Chinatown's crime rate is below that of many parts of San Francisco. So far this year, the police department recorded fewer incidents in Chinatown than in 21 of the city's 43 neighborhoods, including the Marina and Bernal Heights. But still, hate crimes against Asian residents loom large in residents' minds. So she is taking a stand here and fighting back against the crime. But San Francisco did it to themselves because they don't want to prosecute crime. The old DA got ousted because they don't even want to support crime. But I'm thinking that this probably replacing the old DA with the new one probably won't do much because people in San Francisco tend to vote the same way each and every time.
Wait, is it in San Francisco you can't have guns? Or
They probably, well, it'll be California. California is the state that actually decides that.
okay.
So it'll be very, very hard to actually be armed in California because it's run by liberals.
Well, I agree with her. I mean, it's not a bad idea, like, to learn, kung fu.
Yeah.
It's remind me of the movie, is it The Way of the Dragon?
Yeah, that's the Bruce Lee
Yeah.
movie, Way of the Dragon.
Yeah, where, like, he is not a lawyer, but
yeah.
he's...
No, what happened is it kind of does tie into this right here because it takes place in Rome.
Yeah.
And it was a Chinese restaurant. And they were getting bullied by this local mob.
Yeah, the mob wanted to buy the restaurant.
They wanted to buy the restaurant she didn't want to sell.
Yeah.
And then Bruce Lee comes in from Hong Kong. His name is Tang Long. And then the bullies show up and he just beats them all up. But then he starts showing them some moves and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's similar.
Yeah.
Very, very similar. Chuck Norris is in that movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah,
I love that movie. But yeah, you got to take a stand, man, because you can't depend, regardless of where you live at, you cannot depend on the police to protect you at all times. You cannot depend on your government, especially. I mean, look at California. Crime is just run amok.
Yeah, I think that what Biden, the bill, it doesn't do nothing because, the criminal.
Well, what good is a bill if you're not going to prosecute crime?
Yeah, it's like the criminal get jail free.
Yeah.
Even though the police arrest them, but
Yeah. I mean, police can arrest anybody, but you still got to bring charges on them. That's the thing.
yeah,
But now we're in a much different world now, and this restaurant owner's like, all right, okay, you guys want to start robbing and stealing and everything like that? We're going to fight back. We're going to fight back. And people, like I said, in California, of course, it's going to be very, very hard to actually get a gun. Now, out here in Texas, that's why I love living in Texas, man. We can just go get a gun. I'm pretty sure the gas stations down the road, they probably have a gun underneath the cash register.
Well, if there's no gun, the kung fu and the karate, martial art, they use knife.
It'll come in handy. Well, one thing, this is a restaurant right here. So,
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like you're at a gas station, you have the glass at the door. When you're in a restaurant, you pretty much all you have is your hands. Somebody comes in and wants to start trouble, you got your hands. That's pretty much it.
No, but I'm saying that the ninja, the
The shuriken. That's the throwing
the
stars.
samurais and the people who teach kung fu, they don't use gun, they use the knife. So
And it's pretty cool, man. I mean, I guess Mindy Fong, I guess she knows some martial arts, and she's teaching her staff, man.
yeah, some women, they know martial art. I mean, it's just to protect themselves if their husband or boyfriend were not there on time.
Yeah. Well, you know that the founder of Wing Chun, the style that Bruce Lee originally learned, was founded by a woman. A woman actually started that.
Yeah. I mean, in Hong Kong, there's like women who know martial art. I mean,
Yeah,
they can either learn like kung fu, karate, or
yeah. Well, most likely it'll be kung fu.
Well, there's Japanese people living in Hong Kong too. You know?
Yeah. And there's Vietnamese people too.
Yeah. The Japanese, they live in the Eastern District.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I always wanted to learn Jeet Kune Do.
Jikudo.
Yeah, that's Bruce Lee's style, because he wanted to be formless like water and not be predictable. That's why he came up with Jeet Kune Do. I think you can actually learn Jeet Kune Do here in Houston, but I'm not sure. But I know there's a bunch of schools where you can actually learn kung fu, and they have all these seafoods. And yeah, I always thought about it.
So, which one do you like? You like to learn kung fu or karate?
Kung fu. Kung fu seems to be a little bit more fluid.
It is.
Like when you learn like karate style is more bunch of straight lines, right angles, whereas kung fu is definitely different. You know what I mean? You can easily tell kung fu from karate. Actually, if you look at the first Ip Man movie, when he's fighting the Japanese, their style was very, very, I guess you could say, stiff. To me, karate's more stiff, whereas kung fu is more fluid.
Yeah, it's like Bruce Lee says something about water flowing, something like that.
Yeah, he said, "Be like water."
Yeah.
Be
But
like water.
yeah, in Hong Kong and in Macau, well, Macau was owned by Portuguese, but until 1977. But anyway, they always have like movie or like a series where like the Japanese and the Chinese, they always rate like which one, their fighting style is better,
Yeah.
So
Well, a lot of the Bruce Lee movies and a lot of Hong Kong movies, the Japanese were the enemy in there, or it was like the British. Like they always had some British bad guy
yeah.
too. So
Yeah, so they always play that. But they also play a British, good guy,
yeah.
In a way, there's some British, bad people who, just don't like Asian. And there's like British people who help the Asian,
Yeah.
So, and there's also the, Japanese people who hate and love,
Yeah. But at the end of the day, guys, when it comes down to it, you're going to have to protect yourself.
Yes.
I mean, learn how to shoot a gun or just use your fists.
I mean, a gun is good, but if you don't have a gun, I mean, what can you do?
In San Francisco, it's probably so hard to get a gun because of California laws. But hey, use your fists. Be like water. That's what Bruce Lee said.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. Anything else on this? I think we pretty much wrapped it up on that. I mean, that was an interesting topic right there. Pretty interesting right there.
Yes.
People fighting back. So, guys, I think that's going to wrap up the show. We can go ahead and just say goodbye to everybody. Wrap it up.
Goodbye.
You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.